Alright guys, in this one I want to go over a build that is going to let you have pretty much infinite super energy and let you clear everything. This build is going to take advantage of Stormtrance and all the changes that came with it with the most recent Arc 3.0 update. And obviously Stormtrance isn't the most useful thing in the game right now, so I want to see how useful I could make it, and I think this build does show that very well. I will go to say that this build is definitely not one of the best in-game builds in the game, but it definitely can get things done and it is very fun to play. It is a super easy to use and understand build, especially for new players or for experienced players that are just trying to relax and do some casual content. And obviously always having your super is just always going to be fun. Really quick, I do want to say thank you all so much for all the continued support recently on the channel. My video I posted yesterday got like 30,000 views in 10 hours. Over half of my videos on the channel don't even have that many views, so just seeing that crazy support is just beyond ridiculous to me. Thank you all so much for subscribing, dropping a like. It really means a lot and I truly appreciate it. So if you are new and enjoying the content, be sure to stick around the channel because I'm going to be posting a ton of stuff just like this in the future. But jumping right into it, our main exotic of choice is going to be Stormdance's Brace. This has the exotic perk Ascending Amplitude. Each target you defeat with Stormtrance decreases the damage you deal with it and refunds your super energy when Stormtrance ends. So Stormtrance normally is already a very good at clear super. It's kind of what its thing's supposed to do, but the problem is that it does such little damage. When you get to tankier targets, it actually won't do that much damage to those targets and you kind of just waste the super. This exotic is going to change that, so you can kind of run up, use the updated Arc 3.0 Stormtrance where you actually get landfall, kill a bunch of enemies, and then use your normal Stormtrance to activate everything else. You then also have Onic Blink if targets are far away, so you don't waste your super just kind of roaming around, and all that pairs really well together with this. And on top of that, once you use your super, you're also going to restore half your energy on the amount of kills that you get. But to be honest, every time I've used this, it pretty much just always gives me half my super energy back. I don't really think it even matters because Stormtrance kills so many ads anyway. You're always going to get half your super back, so that is crazy good. Now if I'm running a super base build, obviously the main exotic I'm going to be running is Bad Juju. This has the exotic perk String of Curses. Kills refills the magazine, increase damage for a short duration, and grants super energy based on the strength of String of Curses. And it also fires full auto, so it's really easy to use. You get a bunch of super energy when you get kills, refills the gun, gets more damage. Very versatile weapons, very fun. And with pulse rifles recently getting a buff and also exotics doing 40% more damage over legendary weapons to red bar enemies, this thing actually will shred some ads and give you a bunch of super energy. Now a really cool thing to note is that Wish Ender also got a buff basically where it just does an insane amount of more damage now, and it also does have anti-barrier, so it's really good for in-game content. This will also build your super energy up a lot if you are in harder paced content, because doing damage to enemies is what actually gives you super, and once you get into harder in-game content, Bad Juju might not cut it as much as something like Wish Ender would, so that is a very cool thing you can swap out. Now getting into the subclass, I do run Arc Soul just so my wrist can create Arc Souls, and also run Electrostatic Mod, so whenever I pick up an Onic Trace, I become amplified. Arc Souls will actually create Onic Traces due to Electrostatic Mod, letting where your abilities will actually be able to create Onic Traces, and then the Onic Trace will then make you amplify. Amplify is going to be pretty huge for this build, so having those in tandem is going to work really well. Everything over here doesn't really matter. I do just run a healing root for survivability, but make sure you have Stormtrance on for sure. Now for mods, I'm running Spark of Beacon, so while you amplify, your arc special weapons and final blows create a blinding explosion. Spark of Resistance, while surrounded by combatants, you are more resistant to incoming damage, plus 10 strength. Spark of Amplitude, rapidly defeating targets while you're amplified creates an orb of power. Then Spark of Volt's finishers make you amplified, plus 10 recovery. So for my special weapon, I am going to be running Forbearance. Salvage or Salvo also would work extremely well with this. This is going to make it really easy for you to become amplified, since you're going to be getting multiple arc energy weapon kills, plus you're also going to be blinding enemies once you make them amplified. You also do have Spark of Volt, so if you ever need to finish an enemy just to become amplified, this will work very well with that. Then while you're amplified, you're also going to be generating a bunch of orbs of power with Spark of Amplitude, which will then obviously help you get your super even more. Spark of Resistance is just for a little damage reduction if you are close to enemies. Now for power weapons, Cataclysmic is very good, Taipin's very good, whatever you want to run. Just make sure you have a arc special weapon and Bad Juju and Wish Ender. Now for stats, I would recommend 100 Resilience, obviously for survivability, and then 100 Intellect so you can get your super up as much as possible. Now getting into the mods, they don't really rely a lot on buffing the subclass itself, since your exotic is kind of already doing the job of making your super very strong and letting you have infinite amounts of it. But I am going to be running things like Swift Charge right here, so whenever I get rapid final blows with a pulse rifle, I will become Charge Rate Light. This also does have a secondary effect, so when I defeat combatants with a pulse rifle, it actually grants a chance to spawn special ammo for your allies, which is very good for a support based build. But if you do want to change this out to a void armor piece and put on things like Precision Charge right here, this will also obviously work very well if you are running Wish Ender. Now Now I will also be running charged up, so I will get 1 additional stack of charged light, which makes me have 3 stacks of charged light. Then I will also be running stacks on stacks, so every time I gain a stack of charged light, I will actually gain an extra one. So instead of getting 1, I will get 2. Then I will also be taking charge, so I become charged light when I pick up an orb of power. This is going to be very good because if you remember, when you amplify, you will make orbs of power. That is not only giving you super energy, but you also have another way to get charged light. Then finally, I'll be running higher energy fire to take advantage of all that, so my guns will just have a damage bonus pretty much at all times, since you have so many ways of becoming charged light and you get multiple stacks of it. So that is just going to make bad juju be able to kill enemies a whole lot easier, to constantly keep that string of curses up, to keep feeding you super energy back. Now I am also going to be taking a kinetic siphon mod, so rapid kinetic weapon final blows create an orb of power. So this is going to be really good for your bad juju and wishender. Obviously, alongside with spark of amplitude, you're getting a ton of orbs. You're always going to get super energy from those. You're always going to get taken charge from that. Now I am also going to be running a recuperation just to get some health back whenever I pick up an orb of power, which is really good. That's going to play really nice into the survivability of this build, especially pairing that with 100 resilience. I would recommend running a unstoppable pulse rifle. You can change the loader out since you don't really need it, since it already reloads the gun itself, but I just had some points left over, so I just did it on there. But having unstoppable for bad juju means you can take this into in-game content. But again, I would just recommend running wishender because that will be very, very good for that. But then finally, the other 2 main mods are going to be thunderous retort. So grants bonus arc super damage if cast while critically wounded or while amplified, lasts until the end of super activation. So this means whenever I am amplifying and whenever I cast Stormtrance, now it's going to be doing more damage, which means it's easier to get kills, which in return lets my exotic get kills easier, and that will amp the damage up even more. Thunderous retort alongside Stormtrance's brace literally just lets you kill an entire room of ads, no matter how tanky they are. Heck, if you even have everything stacked, it's actually not even bad for boss DPS, but obviously I would not recommend doing that. It does take a lot to get set up, and you'll probably be almost out of super by the time you get there. But that just shows how insane the damage actually is. You pretty much have multiple chaos reaches that can just hit everything in the room and do a ton of damage. Now, to keep myself amplified, I am going to take amped up so I stay amplified a little bit longer. Instead of 15 seconds, it's 20 seconds. That is going to be nice just so I can proc Thunderous Retort more often, just to make sure I will always have this proc, because you're going to have your super energy up a ton with bad juju and all your mods and everything else put together, and you're literally going to be able to just cast Storm Trances everywhere and just kill entire rooms of ads. So that's pretty much it for the build. Like I said, it's very simple. You pretty much get amplified, switch to bad juju, get kills with it. You're getting charger light from literally everything. You're getting super energy from literally everything. Once you finally get your super, make sure you're amplified, proc it. Now you can clear out an entire room of ads just ridiculously easy, not even a problem. After that, you're gonna get half your super energy back, repeat the process, and you can get up to like 10 supers in a single strike if you are playing it well. Like I said earlier in the video though, this isn't the best in-game build, mainly because there isn't a lot of places in the game where, you know, taking a very, very good grenade, say something like Storm Grenade on the Titan, it's gonna do what this already kind of does, just a little bit worse. But that doesn't mean this build still isn't fun to try out and play, and that's why I wanted to bring it to you guys. And speaking of trying it out, I will have a dim link to this build pinned in the comment section below if you guys would like to go check it out over there. And if you guys did enjoy and want to see more content just like this, consider subscribing, drop a like, and turn those notifications on. Also, if you'd like to join my Discord or follow me on any of my socials, all of that will be linked in the description below. But just know watching this video is way more than enough. I truly appreciate every single bit of support from y'all. Thank you all so much for watching, and have a great day. Peace.